Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the policy meeting. I'm sitting in for Phil Howard, who is unable to be the chairperson today. I'm going to turn this meeting over to Mr. Forget.
Thank you. Policy number 2106, school visits by individual board members. We are proposing a few changes, just kind of tightening it up. Advanced notice, we'd like to define that. Advanced notice, we're defining as 5 school days.
Yeah, I'm going to put the word school.
So we're going to add the word school, so defined as 5 school days. And in addition to the request to do the visit, we're asking for the purpose of the visit. The only other change is that if there's feedback provided to the superintendent's discretion as to what to do with that particular feedback.
Board members, questions? Yes, sir.
So does this include like sporting events and community events, concerts, plays? Is that what you're looking
No,
for?
it's a specific request for a board member that would like to visit a building.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll do the gender issues.
Ready
Let's
to
move
move?
on.
2330. 2330 is our district policy on executive sessions. Executive sessions are held for very specific purposes, most of them to provide clarity and counsel on the board agenda that needs to be voted on during that evening. So seeking advice from counsel is now going to be added as number 9 of the list.
We're going to add matters that are confidential under federal or state law and delineate an example of each.
Any other questions? Any questions, board members? Yes,
I
sir.
just wanted to provide one additional clarification. Although it would be, we've received a few requests to consider this meeting, executive session at the end of the agenda. It's really not possible based on the purpose and intent of an executive session to help inform and allow board members to have more clarity on the resolutions they're voting on.
Some action items.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Policy 310 is the self-evaluation of the board. This is an annual event. It could be done through a variety of different ways. We propose to do this through Board of Ed retreats with the executive team. No changes proposed for this policy.
Board members, questions? Thank you.
Policy 2120, school board elections. Again, just a review of this policy as we're coming up on that time of year. We propose no changes.
Board members, any questions? Thank you.
2120.1 is candidates and campaigning. 2 minor changes here.
The 2% is being deleted. That's that which is in red.
Yeah. And
Yes.
And down to the bottom, under electioneering. Just a little bit of clarity on this. So electioneering during the hours of any vote is prohibited within the polling place or within 100 radial feet of the entrance to any such polling place. Displays or handout items of any political nature except those permitted by law shall be prohibited by any individual, group, or organization in any school building or facility. We added the term facility to incorporate this building, Newburgh Free Library.
Board members, questions on this policy? And you're removing that because?
Not removing it. We're adding.
No,
it.
no, up to the top.
Oh, the top, because that's incorrect.
Okay,
It's 100 qualified voters of the district, period.
thank you.
In small cities, yes.
Thank you. Let's move to the next one.
Voting procedures is 2120.2. I actually will turn this over to Ms. May.
Okay, so the first part, I changed chairman to chairperson because it is a chairperson. And the chairperson has to be a qualified voter in the district. And the only thing the chairperson really does is open the polls and close the polls. So I wanted to make that clear. Then going down, I wanted to make sure we no longer have voting machines where you enter when you vote. So I changed that to the privacy kiosk to mark the ballot, and that only an election inspector can be with the voter at the privacy kiosk, and only for the purpose of helping them complete the ballot and inserting it in the machine. There are no more and then if you go down further, there are no more write-in slots on voting machines, so I crossed that out. And then the bottom also, it used to be that you could write in with a pencil, a write-in, but that's no longer the case with the scanning or optical voting machines. Absentee ballots is totally different because they changed the law a few years ago. So I wanted to make it consistent with what the law currently says. You have to submit an application on more than 30 and at least 7 days before if you want the ballot mailed, or the day before if you're going to pick it up yourself or by your designated agent in the absentee ballot. And then the reasons for getting an absentee ballot have changed also. And these are the ones, I crossed out the old ones. It has nothing to do with accompanying somebody on vacation or on a business trip. These are the reasons. And then I added military voters because that was not even contemplated when this was last looked at.
Thank you. Board members, any questions on this? Yes, Mr. Levinstein.
So the presiding chairperson, has it always been the clerk of the board?
It
Is
does,
that-
no, but not unless the clerk is a resident, a voter, a qualified voter of the school district.
Okay, so we have,
But it could have the chief election inspector in each polling place can do it. They have to be qualified voters.
Who was it in the past? Yes, Mr. McCoy.
There's a chairman at each site that's picked by the inspectors there,
But they're all qualified voters.
which are all qualified voters in the district since we're in a city school.
So I'm gonna change that.
The chair people there at that site pick the person in charge that day.
Thank you, that's clear.
And that's the person that signs off on the official challenge ballots and everything.
oh, so it's not a downtown position, it's at each polling place position.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Any other questions, board members? Let's roll on.
Resolution 2121, board member qualifications. Again, pronoun change, as well as
Clarifying.
clarifying item number 3 for a continuous year immediately prior to the elections. Can't be staggered, it must be continuous.
Board members, questions on this board member qualifications? Thank you.
This particular policy, regular meetings, number 2310. We no longer meet once a month. We are having actual business meetings twice a month and at times 3 times a month. So we're changing the language to reflect that.
And I asked for something to be added in the last paragraph about notifying.
Yes, notifying. If a board member will not be attending a meeting, they must notify the board president or the district clerk
Thank you.
Any time in advance that you would like that?
as soon as they know.
Really, should be before the day, it should be, before the day of the meeting.
Unless they get
24
sick and they
hours.
let you know,
24
yes.
hours.
Unless, as you said, unless they're sick and have to do it right then.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So should that same paragraph be put on if we have a policy for special meetings? Also be put on there, what you just mentioned?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
We're good.
Yeah.
Notice of meetings, policy number 2340, we added video conferencing.
The regular video conferencing. You haven't adopted anything else. And also that recently it said if a meeting is live streamed over the internet, you have to inform the public of the internet.
Which we do, correct? That's in the,
If we had to, we would. We haven't done it in many years.
You show the video,
there's a video link.
yes.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. McCoy.
Once this policy is adopted, if it talks like that, then the meeting notice that's sent out by the clerk has to include the stream link. Currently does not.
Okay.
So that means every time that public notification goes out and you're saying we have a regular meeting on September 1st, that day when you're sending it out must include the link to that notice,
Does that also,
to the YouTube channel. So that your public notification
Right.
meetings must have the link for YouTube in the notification,
does that
once this is
also
adopted.
apply to, committee meetings?
Um, Committee meetings aren't live streamed,
Okay,
but no.
yes, sir.
So you're saying this is upon notice of the meeting, it has to be included, or?
The meeting notice will include the link.
Public notification of meetings that goes out.
The one once a month, they do?
Whenever there's a live streamed meeting, you're sending out the notice that says this meeting is gonna be a regular meeting on September 1st. When that notice goes out in August, you
Right.
must have the link up there now when that notice goes out.
Would it be possible to change that to the agenda, where we're legally bound by this?
That's, the law says it goes in the notice of
It
the
has to,
meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess that's a note for the
Let's clear
clerk
that.
to be able to put that into the, whatever it says.
That's gonna be a little bit.
Board members, any questions on this item? Thank you, let's move on.
Policy 2360, minutes. Some clarification changes here, as well as a statement at the bottom, as we are now videotaping our meetings, and they are now allowed to be used for minutes and in archives.
They don't have to be, but it's just another option.
Board members, questions on, where are we on? We're on, minutes policy.
2360.
Okay, thank you, let's continue.
Policy 2250 is board committees. Only change would be pronoun in this one as well.
Are we gonna add the sentence about, notifying the board president and the clerk about, attendance in board committees?
We can.
Okay,
I'd like to, only because what happens if only the chairperson,
Sure. Use the
is
same
here?
language as in the other.
Right,
Yep.
thank you. Does that make sense, board members?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next policy is 2710, communication among individual board members. Just a review of the policy, we recommend no changes.
Anybody have any questions on that? Yeah, let's move on to the next item.
2105 is school board access to information and reports. Again, a review of the policy for when requesting information from the district or the senior team. These are the protocols by which we would like to follow. We recommend no changes,
So,
Except for the pronouns.
except to affirm.
so can you give us a brief idea of what is expected of board members if they're asking for items, information and reports?
An individual board member requests an item or something to be collected or provided. We then wait for the entire board to review that request. The entire board reviews the request and determines whether it's something that we would have to do. And then we would act upon it based on the decision of the full board. If it's something that is immediately available and doesn't have to be put together or created, it's something that we would just distribute.
Board members, any questions or comments on that item?
A little
Okay.
deeper clarification.
Yes.
So any question that a board member might have of central office, the expert,
Any request for
Information
reports,
or data.
information.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Researching or creating something that's not already.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say.
Something that's not
No,
already
that's-
created.
That was actually what I was going to ask about. It says, request information that is relevant to that which the board is in the process of making a determination. So it's got to be relevant, to something that is coming up.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Or Mr. Levinson, if it's a request or a question and the information's public already, and they're just hitting click and sending it, that doesn't need to go through this.
Right, that's what we said.
It's just when it
Okay.
takes the staff's time and effort.
Okay. This was a lot of information today, especially because it's very appropriate and it's coming up and it's very timely. So, when we go to the regular meeting, would you like to review which items are gonna be first read and then there will be a second read?
They will all first read.
Okay.
We will move to March 28th for second read and consider adopt at that time, depending upon any information, question or feedback we receive. But it's more important for us to get the information out so that not only our employees and board members, but our whole community understands the process that we're trying that we're required to implement. So it'll be first read this week, next week at the board meeting, allow some time and an opportunity for people to talk. And then we will then use that to make some final decisions at the March 28th board meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Board members, any other questions about anything that we've done today? Mr. McCoy, do you have anything to add? How about you, Ms. Clerk? No. Thank you. Okay, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Short job.
And thank you, everybody, for participating.
Just first read.